Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another year of Back to Homeschool Week. We have been doing this here on my channel together for many years, enjoying the start of a new school year, celebrating it through a bunch of different videos and giveaways and fun comments and community engagement, and it has just been a fun tradition here on my channel. So welcome back to another year. If you are new here and this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome. I'm glad to have you. My name is Abby. I am a Christian homeschooling mom of 5 kids. My youngest is not quite homeschooled yet. She's 2, but I also have this coming year, I have a 2nd grade daughter, a 5th grade son, a 8th grade son, and a 10th grade daughter. So I have a sophomore in high school this year. And we've been homeschooling from the very beginning. So happy to have you here. Thank you for stopping by. If you like what you see, make sure you subscribe and stick around. Today we are kicking off the first video of Back to Homeschool Week, as we always do, with our schedule. This is probably the most highly requested video following my annual curriculum week, where I share everything that my kids are doing this school year as far as curriculum goes, because everyone wants to kind of know how it shakes out for us. And so what I do every year is I share our schedule, kind of give you the mindset behind our schedule versus giving you a printed version of it. I just like to kind of explain what my plans are and how I reach those conclusions, how I plan our schedule for our school year for my particular family. So if you are looking for some input or help making decisions as far as how your own schedule goes as you lay it out, maybe that would be helpful for you. Just kind of how I arrived at what our schedule looks like this year, which I think is just more helpful than sharing my printed schedule, because that is so incredibly specific to my family and my kids' activities. So I'd much rather share every year just how I create our schedule and kind of what my priorities are in our school year and why I lay things out the way that I do. So that is precisely what we are going to do today. I'm going to share the why and the how of our homeschooling schedule this year. Before I do, I'm going to start this video the way that I start all of our other back to school week videos, with a giveaway. So we have a giveaway sponsor for today's Back to Homeschool Week video, and I'm excited to share all about that giveaway with you guys. So let's take a minute, check out what today's giveaway is, and then I will be back with our schedule. Today's Back to Homeschool giveaway comes from Redefining School, and if you are not familiar with Redefining School, I have so much to share about it. For those of us who homeschool and have middle schoolers, Redefining School is an answer to prayer. So Dr. Mindy Schiermeyer, who has created Redefining School, offers a lot of different literature and writing offerings for middle schoolers, and they're just incredible. So my older 2 kids have gone through her middle school literature survey, her American literature course, as well as her world literature course. My younger son will be starting her American literature middle school literature survey this fall, which I'm very excited about. She also has a ton of writing class offerings as well, and I would invite you to get on the website and check out all of the different options that she has. Her middle school literature survey is open for enrollment just a couple different times throughout the year, so if you are interested in enrolling in this middle school literature survey for this coming year, she is currently open only for a few more days here in August before she closes, and that's an incredible program. Students are introduced to literary giants, dozens of literary genres and time periods, and several literary devices and writing strategies. They get a PDF emailed to them every month with all of their work for that month, and live class invites as well if they want to participate in those live class options. They're optional. And then there are video lessons in there as well. So in just a couple lessons a week, they can be introduced to just an incredible amount of authors, genres, time periods, and different literary devices. She also has a ton of writing courses: Elements of Writing, Creative Writing 2, Essay Writing, Research Writing 1, Research Writing 2, and each month she offers 2 live class choices for those classes as well. You pick the one that works best for you each month. It doesn't matter what course that you're working in or where you are in the course. The live classes are just an opportunity to get some feedback on your writing. These courses are designed to be about 8 weeks long. However, you work at them at your own pace and then join those live options anytime that you're looking for some feedback. So today's giveaway is going to be for any of her writing courses. So if you are interested in anything that I've shared about redefining school, I'd invite you to check out her website. I will link it in the description box down below. And if you would like to enter to win one of her writing courses, I will put the information in the description box below as well. I also have a discount code for those of you who want to sign your kids up for any of her courses. Make sure you check all that out. Thank you, Mindy, for partnering with me on today's Back to Homeschool giveaway. Thank you so much, Redefining School, for partnering with me today on today's giveaway. I hope that you guys are excited about this giveaway. All the information, like I mentioned, is in the description box down below, so make sure that you check that out. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm gonna share the why and how of our schedule this coming school year. I'm gonna kind of share what's on the agenda this term and then kind of show you how I broke that down and created a schedule based on that. So this year I'm doing my schedule by term. We follow a Charlotte Mason inspired homeschool, which means that we have 3 12-week terms in our homeschool. So this schedule is for our first term, which on paper, I have it here running from September 3rd through November 22nd, and then we will take a break for Thanksgiving. Following that, we will start term 2. So that first 12-week term, September 3rd through November 22nd, does include some travel. However, that travel is highly educational, so I'm gonna count that as school when we're there, although we won't be doing math in particular that week. So our first term, 12 weeks, September 3rd through November 22nd. That term also includes our busiest time of year, which is football and cheer season. So my older two do sports for a local school. So in our state, we live in Florida, we have the option of playing sports for our local schools that we're zoned for, or for local private schools as well. So that's what they do. And they also are involved in other things like competitive dance for some of my girls, martial arts for my boys. And so that lasts all year, but the football and cheer season actually starts, it's already underway. It started late July for us and goes through to November. So all of the games, all of the after school practices, summer practices were a little different, but once the school system goes back where I live, the practices get moved to about 3 o'clock every day, right when the schools get out. So that changes the dynamics of our homeschool for the first term. Last year, I didn't account for it. It was our first year. My daughter was just in high school last year, so it was the first time we'd ever done that, and I didn't quite know what to expect, and I kind of crashed our homeschool schedule into that schedule. This year I'm going in with a little bit more wisdom from experience, and I know that that timing is set in stone, and so it's much easier for me to adjust our school based around that practice schedule than vice versa. So that's what we're doing this year. So I adapted our term 1 based on that. So term 1, as I mentioned, September 3rd through November 22nd. I will give my younger ones a break from October 14th through 18th. So they will do a 6 weeks on, 1 week off type of schedule. So my older ones will still work on their science, math, independent reading and all of that week, but my younger ones will have a break that week. But other than that, our term should run 12 weeks straight through. And within that, what our schedule is going to look like tentatively, hopefully it will stay similar for term 2 and term 3, but we will have a little bit more wiggle room in our afternoons for terms 2 and 3 because we will not have that immediately after school practice. Dance, martial arts, all of that throughout the year is in the evenings. School sports are in the afternoon. So anyway, what we have on the agenda for the majority of our days are a later start. That's new for us this year. I'm a big fan. We're an early morning family. We have breakfast all together, typically before my husband leaves for work. We're all in bed earlier-ish, although not quite in the summertime, but we're all pretty much in bed before 10 at night. And so we are early risers. We've always had younger ones in our house, so that's just made the family an early rising family. So we will have breakfast together, and usually when my husband takes off for work is when we start school, because I'm like, all right, we're all in a good swing, let's get going, let's do it. And then my younger ones used to always be done around lunchtime. This year, I've made the painstaking decision to move our start time back a little further, at least for term 1. So while I don't love that my little ones won't be done at lunchtime, they also won't be starting until later in the morning. So they'll have some time to play and to play with me and things like that. So it's neither here nor there. It's just personal preference that we would start earlier, but as it stands right now, this is gonna be the best thing for our family. So the plan is from 8 till 10-ish. My husband usually takes off like 8:30. From 8 till 10-ish after breakfast, we will have our personal Bible time. That's always a staple in our morning time. That's never changed. They'll get their chores done in the mornings instead of in the afternoons, and that is a decision made for after school sports and the runaround, just because there's no time for them to do it when we're finishing school. And then that is their time to pursue their interests freely. I need that time before 10 to clean up from breakfast, to work on housework, to play with my youngest one who needs a lot more attention. If I need to work out, things like that, that now has to happen before we start school, because housework for me and things of those sorts cannot happen after school anymore, because now my chauffeuring starts at 3 when it typically starts at 6. So a lot of the things that I would normally do after school, I can't do after school, so I'll be doing that before school this term. We've kind of built our summer in that way, and it's worked well. Also, when I mentioned that they're free to pursue their interests, what I mean by that is that's a time to bring out the gymnastics mats and work on their tumbling skills. My older two daughters have a tumbling coach, and there's always things they're supposed to be working on turn sets for dance. My older two, my oldest daughter, my oldest son, they always have a workout they're working on, some kind of ab workout or, you know, upper body thing that they're wanting to improve on. I have a kid who really would just like to spend much more time with his pet. I have kids who want to play outside more first thing in the morning. Sometimes they want to swim. They've got other things they're working on, crafts, games, they want to play toys. Anything like that will now happen before 10. So then at 10, we will start our school. This is backwards for us. Usually we start with our family subjects. That's not how we're doing it this term. We are starting with our independent work for my older ones. Any of their things that are deemed independent, although I'm still overseeing all of it, will happen at the start. And anything that my younger ones work one-on-one with me on will happen between 10 and lunchtime. Around 11:30, 11:45, I have is the plan for us to work, or to go ahead and grab lunch. I will spend the lunchtime with our read aloud on most of those days. And then from that time on, we move into our family subjects shortly after lunch. And that is the majority of our homeschool is done with family subjects. And then I will at that point dismiss my elementary age kids to quiet time, silent reading time, drop everything and read time, whatever you call that in your home. Basically they're done with school at that time. And then my older ones, that's when I work directly with them. So if they have writing assignments, if they have logic questions, if we're working on life in the Word or growth in the Word Bible studies, if we are working on, you know, anything that we're reading together. Shakespeare is just gonna be my older two this year. All of those things will happen after family subjects while my younger ones are done for the school day. And then we will go ahead and get ready and start the after school sports runaround, which is every day of the week. So yeah, that's kind of the breakdown, 8 to 10, 10 to lunch, what's happening during lunchtime, and then what's happening between lunch and when we have to take off for sports. Hopefully moving forward, and you'll see another video like this for my holiday schooling, my term 2 and my term 3, but hopefully it will stay pretty similar with the exception of being able to move past like 2:30 in the afternoons with my younger ones, or with my older ones as needed. I say most days of the week because there is one day per week where we have a Bible study that we leave for around 10. So our 8 to 10 kind of block will look the same on that day unless my older ones foresee that they are lagging in an area. So if they have to, you know, do a math lesson or a science chapter to keep up, they will have to do that before we leave at 10 on that Bible study day, instead of just being kind of free to hang on or work on whatever they want to work on. When we come home from our Bible study, we usually get home like, you know, shortly after lunch-ish, before we have to then take off again for solo practices. For dance happens to be on that day as well, or for sports. My younger ones will have their quiet time for that little chunk of time that we're home. It's a very short amount of time that we're home, or they will have that time to, my older ones will have that time as well to work on anything they need to catch up on. We also have a co-op that we're a part of one day a week as well, or that's every other week. So on the weeks that we're not at that co-op in the mornings, we will be doing our handcraft on those mornings. We did handcraft on Wednesday afternoons last year. This year is different. That schedule doesn't work because of dance changing a little bit. So this year it will be every other Friday morning, which is when we have co-op this year, that we'll be working on our woodworking handcraft. And then the weeks we do not have co-op in the morning is when we have history in the afternoons with other friends. So those weeks we will, so those are the mornings that we have. So basically, let me backtrack. Every other Friday morning we have co-op, and those afternoons we'll do catch up on family subjects that we need to catch up on, or if the kids have anything that they haven't finished independent work-wise. If you guys have seen my checklist system, I'll put it up here. If they have anything left over they need to work on, that's kind of our block of time to catch that, is Fridays after co-op. The other Fridays where we don't have co-op in the mornings, we will do our handcraft in the morning. So our morning will run the same, you know, 8 to 10-ish. Then we'll work on our handcraft. When we're done with, on those Fridays when we're done with our handcraft, is when we do history in the afternoon with friends. So it's a little bit of a dance, which is why I don't like making this schedule on paper. I just kind of like showing you guys how I arrive at these conclusions, just so that you can see how people are balancing things. I know the comment I get a lot is, oh, that's so much to balance. How do you do it? And this is kind of how I sit down with all of it. I put in the things that are not negotiable. I'm not in charge of the football timeline or the cheer practice time. There's a little wiggle room with dance choreographers on what day would be preferred for us. Our Bible study is set in stone, so you know, I kind of work around that. And then I plug things in accordingly. And this is how I've arrived at this schedule for term 1. Might sound a little chaotic. I'm actually looking forward to this schedule because it's created with some of the conflict that I had last year in mind. So now I know the scheduling conflict and how to go about that. I've kind of pushed our margins to the morning so that we're not so hectic in the afternoon, and I'm looking forward to the slower mornings and kind of getting things checked off the list earlier in the day before we start school. That being said, I've also created a couple of goals for the term 1. My first goal for the term is, my priorities I should say, I wrote across this schedule on my paper, protect weekends at all costs. So for this first 12-week term, we will not have chaotic weekends, because we do have that added pressure, so to speak, of afternoon busyness before our typical evening runaround. And so I know that weekends will be, I need to prioritize them even more. Oftentimes we are traveling for football games on Fridays, or just have late nights at home games on Fridays. And so Saturdays and Sundays are going to be very important for our family. Family time is of utmost importance for us. I also wrote in capital letters, morning breakfasts are most important, because again, dinner time does happen every day. For most of our family, we do sit around the table at dinner Typically one of my kids will have something from like 7 to 9 for dance usually. So on those nights, we will sit with that kid while they eat before they take off. Those are crock pot days usually, but the most of us sit around the table together in the evenings. But because sometimes there's an end time to that dinner before someone has to go somewhere, it's not as enjoyable and just open-ended conversation. Breakfasts for term 1 are highly important. And so my husband is home for breakfast. He doesn't leave super early in the morning, so breakfasts really important. I'm gonna spend a lot of my August that we're not doing school kind of just gearing up for those bigger family breakfasts and making sure that I'm working that into my morning routine versus yogurt parfaits and quick pancake kind of breakfasts. So hopefully I'll be in a good routine by the time we start in September. I also have a third priority for term 1, so protecting our weekends, morning breakfasts being very valuable. Priority number 3 is I want to bring in 1 Tuesday tea time per month or so. And that's something that I wanted to do last year, but I just literally forgot. But in a season that is busier, I know I keep saying that, I know I sound like a broken record, but it really is just this little chunk of time that's football and cheer added on to something we've already done dance, we've already done karate for years and years on end. It's very normal to us. Football and cheer is our inhale. I'm not used to it yet. So I completely forgot about the Tuesday tea times last year. I want to have just 1 day a month where instead of all of our school subjects, I'm sitting down at the table with the kids all day long and just enjoying the holiday or the season or any of that kind of stuff. So some poetry and some silly books and some fun picture books for my younger ones, and a watercolor. We did watercolor as our handcraft for 2 years. That's something that they're gonna have a hard time giving up. So maybe a watercolor or a fun seasonal project and a little treat, just something to where I get to sit and enjoy them, because I do have it on my heart, especially in these last few years of homeschool with my oldest, to just remind them that I want to spend my days with them and not fall under that authority of the tyranny of the urgent, so to speak. Just, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, we have to get out the door. I want my kids to just, the predominant feeling to be, mom loves spending her days with us. And so I do have to put it in my calendar that we're going to have those tea times 1 day per month. So I have ours for September already planned out, so I'm thankful for that. And then hopefully I'll find a day that would be easier for October and November as we get closer to that. So that is our term 1 schedule and how I arrived at it. I hope that gave you guys some insight if you're trying to balance a handful of things as well. Basically the big changes for us from years past is that we're starting at 10 so that I can do what I usually did in the afternoon in the morning time, household wise. And we are shifting our morning time start for an early afternoon family subjects basket. Instead of morning basket. So I won't be calling it morning basket this year, I guess. I'll be calling it, I don't know. Let me know if you have a good term I should use for it. So those are the big changes, and then just adapting our course load. That'll be the thing for my older ones, is that we're not doing as much first term because we do have a stop time, versus hopefully terms 2 and 3 we'll have a little bit more time to sit together at the table. So that's what our schedule looks like this year. I hope it gave you guys some valuable insight. If you're looking for any, thank you so much to Redefining School for partnering with me on today's giveaway. Do not forget to enter that giveaway or use that code if you'd like to. It's in the description box down below. And I will see you guys tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday for more back to homeschool content. Hope you guys are getting excited for the start of a new school year in your home. See you. Bye.